1.13 patch where there's a few changes.
Yeah, you're in the future, you know.
Yeah.
So back here in the past, Ezreal's still really good in the mid lane. Of course, coming through there, we're going to have to see whether that is banned against maybe Hutong or Rookie. Rookie's a very innovative mid laner, so will be one of the people that I'm sure has picked it up. You know, but then Shen's seen a little bit of a resurgence. Alistair's still a dominant pick. I don't really think too much has changed, of course. Next patch will show us.
Nerfed.
Yeah, Callista. I think
she's still played.
Yeah, she's still played, so, you know, it's just going to have to wait and see, I guess. I can't wait till 5.13 hits in China. We were speaking about it off air, but
yeah,
there are going to be some fun builds with Rylai's coming through, I feel.
Yeah, of course, we've already seen Ryu there over in Europe. Able to pick up the Rylai's Ahri. There's a new pick there in the mid lane. Not necessarily all that new, but still able to make that item work on that champion for a lot of pick potential. We'll see how things work out, but bans coming through thick and fast. We do have Alistair and Ezreal being taken away by Vici. Ezreal blue side ban. Interesting as Callista Thresh. Again, pretty common red side bans.
Yeah, no, this doesn't surprise me at all. Hutong doesn't seem like that pokey mid lane player.
No, it's true.
That does a lot of the damage for his team, so I respect the fact that they're willing to ban it away. Also hit the Shen in the top lane. Zatai not going to be seeing that one. Of course, with the MR per level coming through, Shen seeing a lot more play, especially because of his presence around the map. Doesn't have to wait on that huge 5-minute cooldown that is TP.
Yeah.
Can get around with that Stand United and buff up some of the hyper carries like the Vayne that we've been seeing lately.
Now, interestingly enough, it is going to be the Azir band away from Hutong. Leaves the Echo available if they want to pick that one up. Alistair not available, so not going to be first picked away. We'll see whether Fizz could find some, but Ryze, he's the guy that's really snuck through. We'll see whether Vici decide to go with it.
Yeah, you know, he got a slight tap in this patch, but he's still Ryze up there in the top lane, so definitely is a power pick. If anyone knows the power of it, it would be Vici. Danny had a fantastic game on it, and they also got burnt as well, but they take that, but there's two huge picks available. Nautilus is one I'm looking at right now, as well as the Echo that can be taken away by IG.
Yeah, Echo is a huge pick at the moment, and it can go into the hands of anyone. Rookie could play it, Zatai could play it, Kakao could play it. Could go anywhere. Would expect Kakao to be playing that one in the jungle, if so, though. Graves considered at the moment. IG just still playing with what their options are at the moment. Fizz still available for Zatai there on the top side of the map. Did play that in their last game, but didn't manage to find a victory, and we'll see whether he could go back to that one potentially. But Victor is going to be locked in for a Rookie. Just such a versatile mid lane pick at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you know, he does a lot of things well, Victor. He's a great pushing mage, able to get that Deathway down, especially with the first upgrade coming through there from the Hex Core, and just shove out the wave, make it very hard for Hutong to do anything around the map, and then he turns into a legitimate burst assassin as the game progresses. They've also got the Venn diagram of CC coming through there with the Echo and Victor combo, and that's a lot of gank potential that can come out of the jungle right now for Kakao with some good follow-up damage out of Rookie.
Yeah, heap of circles available for IG. Kid going to waste no time locking in the Annie for Kiddies, and Maokai is going to be in the hands of Zatai, so going full tank one more time, being the initiator for his team. So two tanky members.
Wow, insta-locks Leona out of nowhere. Haven't seen much Leona, but, you know, there's not much disengage coming through right now for IG, so a Leona stun could be just what they're looking for. I like the pickup of the Maokai just because they've got so much magic damage in Corki, Gragas, and Ryze. That's what they'd seen at that stage.
Yep.
That his ultimate is going to do so much to mitigate all of that. Also has a really smooth itemization into MR, not really needing to go much there, apart from maybe a Frozen Heart. Extremely late game to get some armor in there, but wow, that's a really interesting draft out of Vici, actually.
Yeah, but one thing that I want to note, and I've been sort of sitting on my hands wanting to talk about this, is the fact that they have the Corki Leona lane, and there is no champion better to proc Sunlight coming out of Leona than a Corki's Gatling gun. It is just silly.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, the repetitive, I guess, damage that comes through, procs it whenever it's necessary, as long as Corki's in range. One thing I will say is the fact that Annie can just flash on top of Corki, and Leona's not really going to be able to peel that if they go with a high burst carry coming through there. Point. So Corki will need to be careful and make sure the insta-stun coming out of Kiddies doesn't really blow him up. But on the opposite side of the rift, you have the same potential coming through with Marta. If he's ever able to get in Kiddies or Kid's range, that's a lot of potential damage, both magic and physical, to come through from the Corki Leona lane.
Yeah, and Kid is going to finish off the draft here with a Sivir pickup. Last pick Sivir. Very interesting one. Of course, we did see Sivir with a very high priority. Has slipped down the rankings just a little bit, but Cacao, he's on a potential carry jungler here that can get a lot of work done in the early game. We've got now Rookie sitting on the Victor. Lots of burst potential there, but Hatong able to take the Kassadin into the matchup, has the spell shield available for himself after hitting those Qs, and might be okay in the lane.
Yeah, the problem is he's just going to be repetitively shoved in. The turret's going to take a lot of damage, particularly early game, so have to see how that plays out. The reason I like the Sivir pickup, it's a lot of magic damage on the map, and Sivir is AoE AD, so you have to itemize armor at some point against her. It's not like the Corki that is going to go primarily magic damage early on in the game. Sivir is an out-and-out, even with 2 items, threat with AD.
Yeah, well, as we can see now going through these lineups, Hatong into Rookie now as well. You mentioned the magic damage. That is going to be a heck of a lot of it out of this Victor. We saw Cacao just before on the Echo. See how he's going to go. But this is the matchup that you were referring to. Endless into Kid, and the Leona out of Marta into the Annie of Kitties. And you mentioned the fact that sort of Kitties Annie hasn't been something you've been impressed with.
Yeah, you know, I think that IG in general, they do a better job when they have disengaged, but you know, he's pulled it out again. We'll have to see whether he's able to make it work.
Well, we'll see whether he can as we hop onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's not RNG taking on UP. It is, in fact, going to be Vici Gaming taking on Invictus. As you can see, IG heading towards the top side of the map. Not RNG, of course, Vici Gaming going to be spreading themselves out, just doing the 5-point defense system.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to touch on is Zatai's Maokai incredibly important against Hatong. If he's able to get onto the Kassadin as soon as he rift walks, can follow him and really mess up his day. That's why a lot of people like to play Maokai into these assassin picks like the LeBlanc, like the Zed, and now the Kassadin. So we'll have to see whether he's able to be that anti-assassin threat.
Oh, we'll see whether he does. Lots of deep warding coming down from both sides. Of course, Vici understanding that no one is going to be towards this opposite side of the Rift.
Well, we have 2 of the higher teams that like to lane swap. Both of them like to lane swap for different reasons. Vici to hide World 6 a little bit and get Dandy going, and IG, they like to be able to isolate mid lane because they feel that Rookie really is the person that wins lane very well. So they both go for high percentage lane swaps, but both of them control Dragon incredibly well through lane swaps, so we'll have to see whether that is an objective. Vici do it slightly better, that they can really latch on and dictate the pace of the game.
Well, looks like IG going for an interesting start here as Zatai able to get a lot of saplings onto this red buff on the opposite side of the map. Looks like IG are going to start off lane swapped. Vici going to answer it here, though, moving their bottom lane towards the top side. You can see Zatai just happy to take away the little sentinels. Hold on to this blue buff here as Cacao makes his way through as well. So IG already with an interesting start. World 6, though, is going to be able to answer this blue.
And both teams send their Joy lane to the top side of the map, so neither getting a lane swap. It's going to be completely standard lanes with Ryze already starting down there. And that's Vici trusting Dandy to get work done on this pickup in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and Kid now pressuring Endless and Marta out of lane. Of course, they want a couple of levels. You need the Zenith Blade and the Shield of Daybreak out of Leona before you can really get work done. See whether they do wait for that. Of course, Eclipse is pretty handy as well on the Leona. But Annie starts off straight away. So level 1, you're going to have that stun available if you do manage to take that Incinerate early. So
it's more about the auto attack as well out of Annie. Of course, Marta not going to be able to auto attack harass at all here on a melee support, whereas Kitties can just do this when they're under turret. That's why they want to shove up so badly and just continue to harass. See if they can chunk Leona out to the point where the all-in engage at level 3 isn't even a possibility because just it's taken too much damage. Saying that, with 5 biscuits, Marta going to be very hard to poke out of lane.
Yeah, it's going to be eating a whole lot here.
Might get fat.
Yeah.
Of course, cookies are a sometime food.
That is a seriously in-joke there, Spawn. I like it a lot, though. Hatong and Rookie just fighting one another. Here you can see Rookie going down fairly low in the old mana, but does have some biscuits of his own in his back pocket. They must have a large cookie jar there in the shop.
Yeah, both teams, you know. Both red and blue side shopkeepers stocking up on the cookies this week.
Yeah. Just making sure that all of our players get as much sometimes food as they want.
And this is the problem right now. We mentioned in Vici's comp that they're just going to get shoved in under turrets, and it really will open up the map for Kakao to maybe invade World 6 and try and dictate the pace of the game. You can see right now, every lane for Invictus Gaming is simultaneously shoving, and you might think this is a jungler's paradise, but it actually makes you very nervous if you're World 6, because you have to guess what lane Kakao cannot counter gank. Otherwise, you have to deal with all the minions, the fact that your laners have to walk a little bit further to get to you, and you can get a lot of ganks turned around on you. So if one lane's pushed in, generally easy to gank it. If all lanes are pushed in, really hard to do so.
Yeah, it looks like World 6 has decided on the top side of the map, but he may just be going over to this Grump after taking the Scuttle Crab. Looks like this Drag is just wanting to get as many farming options done as possible, as now Parallel Convergence going to be used. Tong may need to flash out of it. He is going to. Kakao grabs himself a shield and makes his way out, and that was a pretty easy flash.
Yeah, it certainly was, and the reasoning behind it is Rookie bounced a wave off the turret, made sure that it was pushing in his direction when Kakao wanted to gank, and all of a sudden, Hatongi gets a little bit antsy because he's like, why is Rookie no longer shoving into me? Why is he bouncing a wave at this stage of the game? Knows that Kakao's level 4 or level 3, and it comes up huge because they have no flash on Cassinu, who still hasn't reached that level 6 mark.
Yeah, level 5 now. They might need to come in and sort of follow up that gank relatively soon before that Rift Walk comes in, but even so, still going to be strong. Nice little incinerate there. As Marta's decided to go in now, already at half health. The Eclipse is down though. Kid taking a lot of damage. Nice spell shield, saving it in fact for that Phosphorus Bomb, making sure the Kid doesn't take as much damage as possible.
Yeah, they return damage quite nicely there and make sure they even out their trade. Really good heads-up play out of Marta to understand when he needed to start backing away out of that trade. And very even lanes coming through everywhere, apart from maybe a slight CS lead that Kids grabbed just from shoving through here.
Yeah, cleared out a whole wave here as well, so that's a whole wave in the lead. Hatong's gone back to base and grabbed a blasting one, though. That's his first edition of the recipe of that Rod of Ages. Interesting decision.
No, I really like the decision. It means he didn't have enough for the Catalyst or the Protector. You can see that he grabs consumables as well as some wards. So it's an aggressive pickup, sure, but it also just means that he didn't want to sit on useless stats like HP and mana because they're really not as cost efficient as the pure AP this early in the game.
Yeah, decent point. Of course, it is going to buff up your shield as well just a little bit.
I just don't like the wards, Wards overrated.
I'm well aware of that. You worry. World 6 making his way towards the middle of the map. You can see Rookie still playing relatively far back as Hatong has now picked up that Rift Walk. Able to farm out quite nicely as Victor. Death Ray on top of the Cassinan as well, so nice use of that damage.
Yeah, so World 6 actually moves in aggressively here. Might be spotted out by Rookie. Actually won't be. And this is a problem with Victor right now. If we have a look at what Victor does well, he shoves incredibly well, and then he just roams around the map. Actually is relatively quick if he uses that Q to be able to chunk out jungle creeps on the wave and just rotate around. You see Rookie, he's just in complete control of mid lane.
Yep, able to just to zap everything that comes towards him. World 6 now just going to knock around this Scuttlebug. Pick up some extra gold as well. He's farming up quite nicely. 26 now to the 22 that Kakao has managed to pick up. Blue buff now being considered. And
we said if Kakao's not able to impact the map, if he goes into farm mode, it's actually Vici's win, and that's exactly what's happened at this point. He got the one gank off on Tonga to blew a flash, but nothing else coming out early game, and would have liked to see maybe a little bit more counter jungling. Of course, it's hard against Gragas, who clears the jungle so healthy, but Kakao just not able to get much done early on in the game.
Sort of starting up this blue buff now. You can see the hex score has been upgraded once more for Rookie. That has grabbed that Death Ray upgrade. Saw that one being used. The Tong misses a cannon creep. Very upsetting, but he's going to be able to grab this massive wave smashing into the turret now. And blue buff was picked up already. So now our blue buff available for Rookie. And you can see IG have now answered the switchback from Vici Gaming, just now that they want to have some control around the Dragon area.
And this is such a Vici early game. They've been able to control the map, and really make IG play the slow, measured game that Vici excel at right now. IG are putting themselves into a corner that other teams have quite successfully. I mean, OMG did it in game #1 after they fell behind early, where they just allowed themselves to play Vici's pace of game. That was when, of course, Fuji just jumped into people to give away the early lead that OMG collected, but they were able to take it to the mid-game and win some team fights. But right now, that's exactly what IG have committed to, because they haven't pushed the pace at all early in the game. It's 9 minutes in, and such a close game.
It's very close, but are there sort of power points that we need to look out for as we move through this game? Are Vici going to find one of those earlier or later?
Well, Vici have got double roller, so their power point is much later in the game coming through here. They've also got Trinity Force as a real power spike coming here for their AD carry. That's a 4,000 gold pickup, of course, around about that mark. So they've got quite expensive first power points to go through. Rise takes so long to get going because of the tier and the roller having to be picked up before he really is any position to fight with that max mana. Wow.
Oh, brilliant flash out of the way of that solar flare, so Kitty's not going to get caught up by that one, and Veltic's going to head out. Oh, flash Zenith Blade not going to be found by Marta.
So both times Marta just pulling the trigger on abilities, knowing that the response was available. Of course, you would trade a flash for a death ultimate every day of the week if you're Kitties, but then Marta also looking to push the pace of the bottom lane, and it looks like Vici want to be the ones pressuring with their Corki Leona, because they feel like that is a lane that currently is very strong.
Yeah, well, it is going to be 88 to 84 as far as that
started off Dragon.
Yeah,
this is dangerous.
Tong bounced over the top of that death ray quite nicely, but yeah, you're right, the Dragon is starting to go down.
So it looks like it's about to be killed, but everyone's down there.
And Dragon didn't take very much at all, but Kitties misses the ultimate. Sport's sort of having a rough day at the moment as Kakao's going to make his way in. They are going to try and grab some aggro on this Dragon. Doesn't fully reset. Looks like IG is going to be able to take down the first.
Yeah, so IG grabbed the first Dragon. Optimistically started up by Vici, I have to say there, especially because Marta had none of his engaged tools, the flash, all the ultimate available, so good force there. Kitties with a little bit of a whiffed ultimate, you know, we won't mention that, but in the end,
is there at an interesting position.
Yeah, it was a zoning Tibbers.
Zoning Tibbers, beautiful. Love it. Frostgren would be proud as Tong going to try and clear up some minions as well. Doesn't quite have the Rod of Ages just yet. Would have been a very good clip if he had to grab that one, but he's only about 700 away from it. 91 to the 98 CS of Rookie, who's gone back and upgraded that Hex Core one more time. And what do you sort of like as far as builds out of Victor?
Yeah, I like a couple of Hex Core upgrades before you go into Boots and a Death Cap, honestly. I think that if you're going to go cooldown reduction, you can afford to go Boots on him. He performs well with actually an Abyssal Scepter because he's such a mid-range mage that it's probably going to be a good pickup this game because you look at how much magic damage coming through.
Yeah.
But Victor honestly just does well with scaling AP. So anything that has max AP in it, second item, Death Cap, third item, Void Staff, so after your boots, of course, so 4 major items, is going to mean that Victor is strong at that part of the game.
You have recently told me that Victor is just generally strong.
Yep.
At most.
He's really strong.
Sorry, I'm actually banned away both games of the last series.
Oh, Punish Victor is so good. There's no way he's going to be sitting that chance anytime soon.
Well, Vici are going to be able to take down this outer turret in the bottom lane.
That's because IG actually forced the issue there. They rotated their bottom lane back top after the Dragon was no longer an issue, and they actually pick up the first turret.
Oh yeah, they do too. So, switching back, grab the top lane outer turret. No Dragon to be had for IG, an understandable decision there. Riftwalk in there from Hatong. Gravity Field not going to find the sneaky Kassadin, but nice answer back because Riftwalk wasn't able to get over the death ray.
Yeah, and I think that Rookie thought that the jungler was there. That's why he didn't drop the ultimate and see if he could get a little bit more damage out. Really heads-up play, actually, for Hatong to be able to get some damage. Wow!
Kakao going so aggressive there. Timewinder does find Endless, but nothing more than that. Rookie's still putting pressure on Hatong.
Yeah, bluffs everywhere out of the lanes. You know, Kakao had no backup coming for so long. If they had to just turn around, ultimate, of course, would have been available.
Oh, parallel convergence is there. There's the explosive cast, though. Kitties is so dead as Endless takes that kill.
Yeah, so actually Dandy teleported in to really secure that one. Good use of the teleport. Clears away any follow-up fight that would have occurred from IG. Of course, that had been used earlier from Zatai to secure the Dragon objective, and that's what I was talking about. There's a lot of burst potential that I'm sure if Kakao had have been a little bit slower on the trigger, might have actually fallen into that the first time he tried to go aggressive.
No, potentially. Well, Rookie just going to continue to try and farm this wave out. Definitely doing a fine job at the moment. About 10 CS in the lead, as this wave is going to reset in the mid. Zatai hanging around the mid lane. Not entirely sure why.
Not
make
really
his way towards the bottom side.
any other places for him to go. Top was pushing, so he didn't want to go towards that area of the map. Now that Cassidon's headed up there, I'm sure he'll look to pick up the scraps of the farm.
And Dandy's been quite quiet. Of course, did see him teleporting towards the bottom side, but other than that, has just been farming this one out and managed to get himself a 10 CS lead of his own here in favor of Vici, and has sort of the makings of those two mana items that Arise definitely loves to grab in the Seraphs and, of course, the Rod of Ages.
And wow, with that turret and the kill coming through for Endless, he's been able to pick up a Trinity Force at only 14 minutes into the game. Another gang coming in bottom.
Yeah, Cacao is here. It's 3v3 at the moment, but Dandy's rotating first. On the hunt was popped. IG able to get out of there, but that's a big cooldown.
Yeah, so in the end, not really able to make anything work. They've warded this brush, but gave it away.
Lots of pings. He can make his way through as well. Walks over a ward though. 4 members strong of IG on this bottom side. The Tide doesn't have his teleport available.
Nothing sus.
No.
They're going to actually give up mid lane turret here, Invictus Gaming. Not a fantastic trade because of how short that mid lane is. See whether they're able to rotate around in time to stop the second from being pushed.
Well, the outer turret is most certainly going to fall down here. You can see 4 members strong as Sapling's going to be thrown in by Zatai, so no inner turret going to fall down for Vici.
They're actually pinging onto the Tide. The collapse is coming through from IG. We might see a fight.
Yeah, Vengeful Maelstrom is up here as the Ignite's actually down on top of the tree.
Ooh.
Explosive Task going to be thrown out. World 6 not going to find them up.
The rest of the team's
get
here.
The flash. Yeah, Cacao looking to find his way in. Does get over the side, but Dandy so much damage. Cacao gets destroyed as Marta picks that one up, and IG, they're going to have to turn tail.
Yeah, so Cacao not able to get the ultimate through, has no tank stats really to speak of, apart from the Cinder Hulk, and gets blown up by the Rise at this stage of the game, and the siege will continue now coming out of Vici Gaming.
Oh, Zatai actually getting caught one more time here as well. World 6 completely out of mana. Dandy just locks him up. That's Room Prison. Doesn't feel like it has much of a cooldown.
No, it really doesn't in the mid-game skirmishes coming through. And you can see Vici with the Rod of Ages finished up on their mid lane, a Trinity Force finished up on their AD carry. This is where we said they would get their first power spike coming through. Have really started to use that. They pick up a good turret in the mid lane and a couple of kills in their advantage. Yeah, Marta looking to try and get something done here. It does have the mobility boost, so able to close distance pretty quickly. Rookie just zapping things as Kid takes a casual tower shot. Sending a message. 7 seconds on the Dragon. IG looking to grab their second of the game, but they haven't managed to find a kill just yet. 2,000 gold the lead for Vici at 16 minutes. It's the Vici story one more time, Spawn. Yeah, it certainly is. Just playing the map a little bit smarter, understanding that they can trade the mid lane turret for the bottom, just open up that area, get an advantageous teamfight coming through off the back of really good objective control. And IG, they picked up the first dragon, so they're not in a rush to fight for the second, but there's not really an objective they can trade for it. And in LPL, giving up a dragon for free isn't something that teams really like to do.
No one doesn't like to do that. No vision available for IG, though, and you can see there's Echo's decided, Cacao wants to scrum.
Oh, there's no way they could fight at this stage of the game. You see the double roll, you see the Trinity Force, Stalk Boots finished up on mid laner and AD carry. Vici in such a power point. You compare it over the other side of the rift. Kid hasn't even picked up an Affinity Edge yet. He's really hurting for farm or any form of kills. And IG going to have to be patient and continue to wait, look for picks. Yeah, they just can't find them. You can see Scrying Orb was used there on the bottom side of the map. IG, they're trying to set up moments for themselves to claw their way back into this game, but Vici, they just seem to be one step ahead. Yeah, this is Vici's style of League of Legends. They love to control the rift itself and make sure that no one can get in an advantage to pick them off. As we said, it really has been only the team fighting phase of the game around the 35-minute mark that's let Vici down. Apart from that, they've looked as solid as ever.
Yeah, well, this time as well, they've got a whole lot of scaling options, especially from their solo lanes in this Rise and the Cassidon as well. You did mention the fact that they've got a lot of magic damage. That might be something that might come back to bite them, but the fact that there's this Rise and Cassidon doing well, and the Tide is relatively caught out here on the top side of the map, could be a problem. Of course, he is a pretty tanky guy.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, the fact that there's all magic damage coming through from the side of Vici means that the longer this game goes, the tankier Zatai and Kakao are going to become, and the harder they'll be to deal with. So there is still light at the end of the tunnel for IG, especially because they have an AoE AD carry coming through there, as Mata might have been caught finally.
Yeah, there's the Time Winder on top of him. Parallel Convergence going to stun him up as well as it comes down. Xenoplay gets him out of the way of it, actually, as Rookie's trying to come through, but flashes out of the way. Mata falls down. Here's going to be Hatong locking down the Victor. A lot of damage now not available, but Chaos Storm was already there. Kid now finding his way in. Endless over the top as well as Kakao. Able to chrono break his way to safety. Relative safety anyway, as now Parallel Convergence just as a zoning tool. Going to get some slows. Locks down a bit of a stun onto Dandy, but that is all, and it's a 1-for-1 in the end. Yeah, so in the end, it's mid laner for support coming through. Once again, Vici get the better of the trade, pinging back towards the top lane. They want an objective off it as well. And IG are honestly holding on for dear life. You can see that even when they look like they've got a pick, it's being turned around time and time again. Mata heads up play to try and ult Rookie, burn both summoner spells on the back end of that, meant that it was just way too dangerous to continue the fight. And look at this as well. One more time. So much vision from Vici. So much forward vision as well. You can see Mata was just wandering around that jungle, but he was feeling a whole lot safer than he otherwise should have, just because they can see everywhere. Yeah, exactly right. So coming through here, Vici, they've got all of their pink wards down there nice and deep in the jungle of Invictus Gaming. Even after an even team fight, they're the ones that take the advantage on the map by knocking down a turret in the top lane. All three outers now are out, and look for Vici to continue to push up, try and get that ward line nice and deep to control the rest of the map, because, you know, 5th Dragon, probably a little bit too far into the future, but Baron, very real objective coming through here with the Rise on the map, and they're looking to continue the pressure game. Yeah, Morellonomicon now completed for Rookie. If we have a look at the items for a moment, Aegis the Legion there for Kakao as well, so with a whole lot of magic damage on the other side of the rift. Very, very useful item at this point. Berserker's Greaves and, of course, that Infinity Edge now completed for Kid. Looks like he's going towards this Ghostblade Sivir build that we've been seeing a little bit more of as well. Yeah, so trying to get as much AD out earlier in the game. He knows that he needs to catch up to the Corki in relative strength, so going for the cheaper item build coming through there. Of course, it gives you a little bit of everything as well, that crit, the attack speed, and the armor penetration coming through. So good pickup for Kid to keep himself relevant. Won't have the same late game impact as, say, a Phantom Dancer Civil will, however, so need to make sure that he's keeping an eye on that. Well, Righteous Glory now completed for Zatai, so IG now finding themselves a few items that could help them out moving forward, namely a lot of cooldown reduction on Rookie and some engage potential out of Zatai, but they still need to get the fights in the right spots. Parallel Convergence is going to be used. Dandy going to happily stand in that one as Kakao. No way that he can get in. Yeah, and they're just looking to see where they can pressure Invictus next, clearing out all of their pink wards. Yeah, Rookie going to get a death no damage. Yeah, no damage. Just no penetration coming through right now for Rookie. Went the wave clear cooldown reduction path because he feels that his team's behind and he needs to continue to farm up against the super tanky junglers coming through here, as well as potentially even the Rise, who's gone the Mercury treads. He's just not going to be able to do enough. It's not really working. Able to clear out this mid wave as it crashes into the turret very, very well. IG might be sandwiched here just a little bit as Mata's making his way over the top, looking for the Solar Flare. There's the Rift Walk in as Hatong not going to be turned on whatsoever, and this is the scaredest I've seen IG in a very long time. Yeah, so they just don't want to pull the trigger. They know that they're still behind in terms of relative strength. They've got good wave clear. Don't even know why they would really put themselves on this side of the map, and they're not going around. No, you've got Vici just holding onto this choke point, and this is somewhere that, Zatai is just going to get caught out of position, tries to turn it around there as Righteous Glory is going to go off. Nice Tibbers to stun up 3 members of Vici and save the tree. But environmentalism aside, it's going to be a lost trade there for IG. Rookie was on the top side of the forest trying to protect the turret when Zatai got caught. There was no way IG could get out of that. Fantastic Tibbers, honestly, coming through from Kiddies to really save what would have been a disastrous team fight. Yeah. But Vici just showing that right now they're in control of every part of the map. Yeah, and IG just bleeding. It's now up to 4,000 gold, the lead approximately for Vici, as Endless was able to clear out the top wave as well. Ina's going to be pressured, but the outer turret in the mid lane is going to fall down in favor of IG. And they get a lot of farm over onto Zatai up there in the top lane, so he's going to get tankier. That was a heads-up play coming out of IG to be able to grab any form of an objective, but not in a position to fight still. Need to give up another dragon. Yeah, is going to be available right now. You've got backing members of IG everywhere, and Vici just going to casually stroll into the pit.
Yeah, Dragon number 2, not really a huge deal coming across here. Of course, first one a little bit more important to stop coming through, but Vici, they continue the timer on the buff and going to be able to pick up another objective. See whether IG can sweep any of those important pink wards while this is going down. Doesn't look like they can.
No, can't quite. Members of IG not really grouping. They are moving towards the top side of the map, and there is a teleport available for Zatai as he sort of split pushes his way through on this Maokai.
It's really important to keep Zatai in this game. You know, it's easy to give farm over onto your carries because you think they might be the people to keep you in, but their tank line this game, with all of the magic dealing threats coming through, need to be incredibly big, especially because it's persistent magic damage. It's a Kassadin, it's a Ryze and Gragas who continually put out multiple spell rotations. Getting Zatai and Kakao into a position where they can tank up all that upfront burst is going to be important for IG.
Yeah, it's really huge the fact that Maokai is able to protect so many members of the team as well by just being alive with Ventral Maelstrom on top of his teammates. So I can understand you do want to make sure that this tree is able to take care of his team.
Same thing with Kakao. You need him up there for the Aegis to be able to impact everyone.
Yeah.
Remember, that's pretty much an Abyssal Scepter worth of resistant shred coming through that currently isn't available on Vici. You would expect maybe Dandy to pick one of those up. But the Aegis as well as the Zatai ultimate are the only two things that will save IG right now in a team fight.
Well, we'll see whether Zatai and Kakao can get things going on here, as Rookie has decided that he wants to grab a Void Staff by the looks of things as his next item.
Yeah, you saw he just did negative damage to World 6 the last time he got a spell rotation. And, you know, Death Cap a large way away, so if he goes Death Cap and then Void Staff, game might be too late for him to actually have a meaningful impact. You see this a lot when people go the Majia's Void Staff build. It's, I need damage right now to be able to impact this game.
Yeah, and we'll see whether it pays off, and if it does, yes. And if it doesn't, sort of how it works out. Vici now just creating some positions around this Baron. Parallel Convergence going to give away their tactic for a moment.
They actually use both of their vision spells at the same time, though. They use the Scrying Orb as well as Kakao's Parallel Convergence, as you just saw, so maybe could have been baited a little bit longer by Vici.
Well, as it stands, they are just going to move around towards the mid lane. They've got a lot of vision towards that top side, now wanting just to consolidate towards the bottom side of the map as well. World 6 not going to be able to clear out that pink ward around the blue buff just yet, but get some deep vision on his way through. Marta going to clear out this ward as well. Of course, Leona pretty good at getting rid of wards with that Shield of Daybreak.
Yeah, and you see Void Staff is now picked up by Rocky. Maybe need the Yomu's Ghostblade to be finished up for Kid for them to really feel like they can fight, but Zatai, he's hit a good item advantage coming through now with all of that MR, as well as the Righteous Glory. So slowly but surely, IG are finding power spikes. It's just that Vici have been sitting on theirs for so long. The double roller, of course, nearly almost at... Wow.
Yeah, Kitties is so close to dead. Nice gravity field, but it is going to be Hatong locking down the kill there. IG now.
Going.
Yeah, a man down. Have to be very careful. Parallel Convergence looking for Hatong. He's going to be able to lock down the red buff here, but smited away from World 6, and in comes Marta. There's the gravity field. World 6 going to get stunned up. Explosive Cast gets Zatai out of the fight. Kakao forced to get out of there. Hatong uses his Zonya's Hourglass, and Zatai locks down the kill. Ventral Maelstrom explodes to take him down, as Marta now looking to try and get some more work done, and IG, they do get to the right position. Kakao has an interesting interaction as he just launches himself towards nothing after the Valkyrie.
He was trying to get the edge of the stun off on the gravity field. What a good fight. Teleport coming through from Zatai.
Yeah, looking for it as Dandy takes the tip of the boomerang. Flash over the top from Kid, but flash out from Dandy was absolutely godlike to save his own life there. Zatai might be able to lock down Marta. Zenith Blade and Flash. We'll see whether it's going to be enough in order to get them out, but there are so many slows from Vici, and they're just kiting IG around.
Yeah, so in the end, they're not going to get anything off their teleport. Pulled their trigger on the 3, left Dandy to escape, but in the end, don't get anything. You were thinking they were looking for that team fight to turn on the Baron, but in the end, I think it was a 1-for-1 trade, and nothing really occurred.
Yeah, not a whole lot happened there at all. As just some brilliant plays there. Kid flashed over that wall to try and get Dandy, and then just couldn't manage to follow up the damage, and Rune Prism was enough. Dandy just flashes away.
Yeah, so in the end, not really much coming through here. You see the Seraph has been finished up, as well as those distortion boots now for Dandy, making sure he has the flash as well as the teleport available a little bit more often. But you could see the amount of work that Zatai put in that last team fight, tanking much for his team before he flashed over the wall. And if the team fights continue to go for that long and the super tank in the top lane is as effective as Zatai just was, it's going to mean it's a little bit harder for Vici to execute.
Yeah, Zatai now able to grab some armor for himself as well. Looks like he's going towards either a Randuin's or that Frozen Heart. Wouldn't expect a Randuin's from a Maokai. Has been the Frozen Heart in the past. His Kitty's very frightened.
And you know, you look at Zatai and you think primarily an all AP team coming through. Why would you? Wow. We'll finish that in a second.
Yep, World 6 not going to get engaged on just yet. Zatai holding on to the Twisted Advance. They want to find a priority target. Timewinder going to lock down Marta here as the Solar Flare does stop Rookie from advancing any further. Lots of damage onto this Leona and gets picked off as World 6 trying to get around here. Kitty's going to get destroyed though as Endless able to come in with a lot of consistent damage. Dandy, he's going to fall down though as Kid. He's still alive. Gets destroyed by World 6. Endless still alive in the front line of this fight, but Zatai and Kakao all over him at the moment, and the consistent damage of Rookie doing a bunch of work, but now very, very low. Endless somehow still alive, not entirely sure how, as Zatai still trying to take him down. The Echo does fall, so the last man standing going to be Zatai. Still damage available from Vici, though, just not quite enough, and man, that took a long time.
What a long team fight coming through there. Kitties is already respawned, so it's not an ace coming through, but a 5-for-2. 3 trade actually, because Marta had also fallen coming through for Vici Gaming. But you saw the longer this game goes, the tankier Zatai gets, the worse it's going to be for Vici, because they don't have that out-and-out super tank coming through for their team. And AP definitely doesn't deal incredibly well with it. What I was going to mention is the fact that Frozen Heart actually fixes a lot of Maokai's cooldown reduction and mana pool items. That's why you see it even against a lot of AP teams. Really good for this attack speed slow against any AED carries, but you know, 20% cooldown reduction, all that mana, not something you can easily replace. Let's take another look at the team fight though. Kitties gets exploded on the back line, and Dandy survives for much longer than they expected, and that just meant that Endless got some important auto attacks down onto Kid, and he gets blown up. After that, it's really just a tank battle, you know. Kakao and Zatai trying to do their best, Rookie just fighting around, but too much damage threat coming out of Vici for right now in the game.
Yeah, and Endless managing to use that flash at exactly the right time, and then came back into the fight right after Rookie died. They just didn't have enough to take him down in time, and it was just Vici able to run away with the fight.
Yeah, you know, they continue to go. They see if Zatai can push this one through.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Zatai taking 15 years to die, as we do have a slight pause, ladies and gentlemen. LPL looking to try and get their players back onto the Rift as soon as possible. You can see Rookie just chilling out, wanting to preserve himself so that he can put this game on his back.
Preserve himself. How do you do that? How you do vegetables?
Swim around in a lot of vinegar.
Vinegar?
I think so.
Make sure you dehydrate yourself first with some salt.
Yep, Spawn's cooking show. Thank you very much.
No worries. I like preserved eggplant. That's why I know how to do it. Yeah, it's delicious.
Capsicum, quite enjoy.
Yeah.
A bit of that. Enjoyable stuff. Let's not talk about this anymore. We're talking about pickles. What the heck?
We're back on the Rift.
Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. Okay, Rookie going to be able to take down some wolves. Excellent stuff. Kakao looking towards the top side of the map, and Vici considering a back. That's my update.
Just continuing to sweep out some wards right now.
Whoa, Kakao looking to... He's going to stun up Marta.
A lot of good that did.
No, not a whole lot. Exactly right. Face of the Mountain was used, but it's got barely any cooldown, and Marta's just going to say, yep, what of it?
So right now, Vici, I still think they're in a very powerful position to continue to fight. You see, they're going for tanky routes on Dandy as well as World 6. So trying to turn Dandy more into a bruiser like old Rise was.
Yes.
Spirit Visage synergizes very well with Rise's ultimate. Gives him that 10% cooldown reduction that he's missing. Or he could go for a Banshee's Veil. You know, maybe a better option coming through there. Get rid of some of the important CC. We'll have to see how Vici decide to play the next stage of the game, because this is where they've started to hurt, around the 35-minute mark.
Ooh. Yeah, Kakao's going to squad out Dandy here, but World 6 and Marta are going to try and get in there. No joy with the Zenith Blade, though. Can't quite grab a pick.
Another Rev invade coming through.
There he is. World 6 actually gets caught by the Timewinder, Dandy as well, but they are going to be able to take down this Rev buff pretty quickly. It's just deciding on who it wants to hit at the moment. Kakao looking to find his way in Solar Flare, not going to find any stuns on anyone, but Rookie, he's going to get exploded in the backline. Hatong gets stunned up by the gravity field. Rookie was alive for a very long time, but they take down Marta. Double kill already for Hatong, though, as this Kassadin is going off. 3 kills now. Zatai, all of the focus on top of him. Kakao, the only one to survive, and it's a triple kill for the Kassadin.
Yeah, what a play coming out of Hatong. He's at the stage of the game where Kassadin excels. Level 16 picked up. That rank 3 ultimate doing work over the entirety of the IG lineup. And that would just stack up over a buff they didn't need to fight. It's a red buff And Vici are in such a power point still. Just give it up and walk away, but instead Invictus made to play. They'll lose the Baron by possibly the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's looking more and more difficult here for IG, and we're talking about this game waiting for Vici to sort of fumble, because this is not the stage of the game where things tend to be working out. But right now, this Cassidy doing massive things. The fact that Dandy is able to get so much damage off, 3-1 and 3 now as well on this Rise. They're just going from, you know, positive to positive here this game.
Yeah, and Rise has such a zone at the front of him that you don't want to enter, and there's 2 mid-range carries in Siva as well as the Victor on the map that they're kind of trying to avoid the... Wow, Kid.
Yeah, all
sorry.
Play just the tip. Not going to get stunned, but does find the slow there out of the Solar Flare. Shield of Daybreak not going to get Martyr in, and without the Zenith Blade, can't follow up.
Yeah, so nothing happening there. So, sorry, what I was saying is 2 mid-range carries coming through here against a Rise means that they're playing that far back that Hetong is cleaning up the backline time and time again, and Endless just feels like he can be as aggressive as he wants because no one's ever in range of hitting the Corki. He's just free hitting the tanks.
Yep. And he's got that Blade of the Ruined King as well, now with the Last Whisper, so not going to be too worried about any armor that is going to come through, and health stacking not really going to help anyone here on the side of IG. So Endless, like you mentioned, it's a bit of an unsung hero, able to just get rockets in amongst it when he doesn't quite have the range, and other than that, able just to auto-attack down whoever's in his face.
Yeah, so, you know, the hybrid damage of Corki in this game definitely now swinging further towards the AD as the game goes on, and Earth shows us the never-ending minigame.
Yep. We're going to be able to clear out this wave, but inner turret is going to fall down. Baron going to be helping Vici as IG decide to concede their inner turrets in favor of trying to hold on to their base if they can.
Yeah, so if they give away 2 inners, I'm sure they'll be incredibly happy with it. They just want to preserve the base, make sure it's not broken right now. But there's just so much seed potential coming out of a Trinity Force Corki as well as World 6's Gragas, who's 2-0-9, having a fantastic game. You have to say, Vici on the verge of, I guess, breaking in and trying to take this all-important Game 1.
Yeah, this is one of the best games that we've seen World 6 in. To be perfectly honest, he's really, really playing well, and able to make it look like switching Dandy to the top side of the map has worked out for this Vici Gaming squad.
Well, to World 6's credit, he generally does look very good on the Gragas. It's when he is forced to play other junglers that he has some slight performance issues.
I like how that has been stated as well, as Rookie has picked up the Abyssal Scepter, so 4 items strong for this Victor. Doesn't quite have the perfect tech score just yet. But with a couple of upgrades, it's still
It's going to be a last item death cap coming through here for Rookie, so not getting all of that AP through at the mid stage of the game. Going for an Abyssal, don't get me wrong, I like it because he's being assassinated right now by magic dealers, but needs to make sure that he can get the death cap relatively soon before the game honestly will be out of reach. It's 10,000 gold right now, the lead for Vici.
Yeah, and they're just slowly gaining it as well. We saw after that Baron, it was about 7,000, now stretching it as this game goes on, grabbing the standing gold, using that Baron buff. And slow and steady has, of course, been the way for Vici, and we'll see whether they can slow and steadily make their way towards a victory instead of messing up a team fight potentially.
Yeah, you know, this is the first time that we might be able to say that it will win the race coming through here for Vici, because they're on their 4th Dragon buff, 5th going to be available in about the 6-minute mark, because they're going to knock that dragon off the map relatively quickly, and that's going to force IG to fight them. So unless they get death cap in 6 minutes, which Blasting Wand has already been picked up, I don't know whether there's a way they can fight.
Yeah, 6 minutes. Not going to quite be long enough to earn what is 2,400 gold. Yeah, difficult amount. I mean, Rookie might be able to do it if he grabs a kill on everyone. Potentially. Dandy going to be able to clear out this bottom wave though. More than happy to split foot. Does have the Banshee's Veil, so not going to be too scared of any twisted advances unless he's going to get hit by a sapling beforehand.
Just look how much more gold Endless has over Kid right now. 3 completed items, the boots as well as a QSS. And Kid went the cheap route of his build. Went for a Yomu's Ghostblade over the Phantom Dancer and hasn't been able to get anything afterwards.
Has finally managed to grab himself the red buff, so that's something he can hang his hat on at the moment.
Didn't have to give up 5 kills for it either this time.
Yeah, pretty handy. World 6 still clearing out some vision. Kitties is going to be able to get a ward over the wall there as Satong gets hit by both ticks of the boomerang.
And you know, something else to point out at this stage of the game, because people aren't level 18, is it's the level advantage they have as well. You can see World 6 2 levels over Kakao, so it's not only these huge item advantages that they've been able to pick up, but it's the relative stats you get off just being a higher level that really is continuing to snowball this game in Vici's favor.
Yeah. They do need to make some moves, though. They're sort of spreading now apart, trying just to suffocate IG out of their base.
You haven't watched Vici play much, have you, Atlas?
I'm more talking about the fact that it would be nice if they would now make
Minute 30, they'll make another play. It'll be on the Baron with lots of wards in the red side of the jungle of IG, if I know anything about Vici.
Okay. Okay, so 1 minute and 30 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, is when we're going to be getting our next fight. Nice ring of wards around the top side of the map where IG will be approaching that Baron pit. Means that they don't need to get as much vision into the pit at all because, look, IG has to walk through a whole bunch of each vision to get anywhere near it.
You see, it was a Banshee's Veil picked up for Dandy, so
yeah,
he's trying to get...
Old Rise.
Yeah, and he's going for what looks to be a Thornmail or a G8.
I'd like a G8.
Would you? For your birthday, Christmas?
I thought you might pick that one up. No. Just, I like the idea of it on the Dandy here, just because I feel like they only really need to win one more fight and then they can break into the base.
Yeah, definitely agree in that regard. And you see a lot of, I guess, now the Negatron cave has been picked up by World 6. He might be looking towards something similar, or maybe even an Abyssal, something aggressive for the Gragas coming through as one of his pickups. Of course, Abyssal's actually really good on Gragas because of how much damage his W does. Being able to spread any resistances for this AP lineup is going to be good as well because no one else has had the luxury of picking up that item. But as I say, he grabs a GA.
Yeah, grabs a Guardian Angel. Interesting
He's
item choice.
Really rich, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm looking at... He has so much more gold than Kakao.
Well, Kakao was trying to pick himself up some gold. Marta threatening him there just a little bit with the center play, but able to phase dive his way out of it if it was going to come towards him anyway.
Kakao sells his yellow stick for a purple stick, of course worth a little bit more AP there, but wasn't able to get the death cap before the Baron is up, and he just feels like he had to sell it. Make a net loss on it because the next fight going to be happening right now.
Yeah, and 5.12, of course, ladies and gentlemen, means that that's 80 AP on that needlessly large rod as well. A little bit more worth it than it otherwise would be as far as selling that blasting wand is concerned. So understandable decision, but Marta is actually going to find out Satai here. Very tanky, though. You can see only taking about half of his health just now as Hatong uses his Zhonya's relatively early. Does lock down World 6, though. IG trying to get a team fight. Double stun onto Kakao and Kitties as they are going to be the first ones that are going to be taken down here as IG, Kakao, very, very low. Kid just gets obliterated. Rookies to follow. Vici, they found the fight that they wanted. Another triple kill for Hatong on this Cassidy. And Vici, they are going to be able to take game one in such a controlled fashion.
Yeah, and in emphatic fashion after two fantastic team fights. If there's something we can't, I guess, said that they weren't executing fantastically on, it was those late game team fights. But 2 in a row now means that they will close out IG for game one. And Kid just not having a great game. 0-3-4, down 60 CS. Just wasn't doing what Endless was towards the end of that game.
Yeah, and Hatong 8-1-7. That Cassidy was so big, especially towards the later stages of the game. Zatai's just getting ignored as this Nexus is going to get taken down. 18 kills to 6 in favor of Vici, and that wasn't the result I was expecting from this.
And even more impressive, you know, the 16,000 gold lead. They played Vici's style, but cleaned it up around the 35-minute mark and then closed out the way that we've been expecting Vici to. They've got Dandy, they've got Marta. If anything, these guys should be able to play the map, and they've shown that they can do that, but now translate it into the team fights they're looking for.
Yeah, and the thing that was fantastic is the fact that they were playing so patient. They weren't expecting IG to come through with any crazy plays or anything like that. They knew exactly what they could take, and they took it.